So guys, I did it. I got the PS5. That's cringe, bro. You should sell it for $1,000 to build a new PC, which is the only platform that real gamers use. Now, I don't know if you know this, Mr. R/PC Master Race, but I actually don't hate minorities. Now, let's start this review by talking about the system's size. Alright, so here's the Switch. It's a pretty small console overall. Then we have the PS4, which is sizably larger and more powerful. And then we have the PS5, which is so big that I could barely fit it back here. You see why this was a problem, guys? Now, once you start this chonky boy up, the first thing you'll notice is the system interface, which is somewhat similar to the PS4's. Both systems have a similar layout on their home screens, but the PS5 utilizes the quick menu, which allows you to change some settings without exiting out of the game entirely, much more than the PS4 did. This menu displays trophy information, the activities of friends, and general information about your current objective in the game. While all of these features are great, the quick menu's best feature has to be the switcher, which allows you to switch between games effortlessly, all without having to go back to the menu. While the system of menus is much different on the PS5, the player profile tab remains quite similar to the PS4's. However, you can see how many hours you've had a game open for on the PS5, revealing that you actually have no life. The PS5 also introduces the PS Plus collection, which can be viewed under the PS Plus tab. This is a new benefit added to the PS Plus subscription that allows members to download a set of popular or exclusive games from the PS4 era. Strangely, however, there's one oddity in this set, the inclusion of the Nintendo exclusive game Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now let's talk about the SSD, or solid state drive. This allows the PS5 to load information extremely fast, which heavily cuts down load times or gets rid of them altogether. For example, in my playthrough of Spider-Man Miles Morales, there wasn't a single load time present throughout the entire game, allowing for some extremely clean transitions, such as this one right here.
Hold up. Oh, I just blew my load. Oh, I need to end the stream real quick, guys.
The time to start games is also reduced too. For example, on the PS4, Overwatch takes a minute to boot up. Meanwhile, on the PS5, it takes 25 seconds to do the same task, meaning that you can get to complain about your teammates faster than ever before. Even though the SSD and fast load times are one of the main selling points of the system, its main selling point is its
graphics. That's really what this is all about.
4K, ray tracing, particle effects. You know what these three have in common? Obviously, they are all two words, and they all make the Nintendo Switch look like a complete joke in comparison. Take Fortnite, for example. Here's the Switch version, and here's the PS5 version. You're staying in there, you know that? Epic Games took full advantage of the PS5's hardware with this new version of the game. There's so much detail that couldn't have been possible on the PS4. The water physics are buttery smooth, there's cool details like how you can see your character's breath in cold areas, and when you die, you turn into cubes. However, the game is fun, except when you're losing. Not only does the PS5 version of Fortnite harness all the graphical power of the system, it also utilizes the features of the DualSense controller too. Speaking of the controller, the PS5 controller is packed with brand new features. For starters, it has a microphone button, which is great for multiplayer, as it means that you don't have to use a headset to hear and talk to others while playing games. It also has much better rumble than the PS4 controller, which allows for much more immersive and intense gameplay. Not only that, the controller also has adaptive triggers, meaning that the triggers have tension on them while performing certain actions, as I'll demonstrate right here. Alright, so I'm here in Fortnite, and I'm going to be showing you guys the adaptive triggers. So basically what this does is it provides tension to the triggers when you do certain actions. So like when you shoot, you have to press down a little bit harder than you would on the PS4 controller. Now I'm pressing down as hard as I can right now, and there's a tension point right here on the controller. I think you guys can see that. There's like a little bit of a tension point. And to shoot the weapon past this point, you have to press down really hard, and there's a lot of recoil. Creates loads of tension. So that's really cool. And it's different for every single weapon. So here we have the Scar. The tension point is way lower, and you can shoot it faster and without much recoil and like rumble. And then I think one of the most unique weapons is the charge shotgun, because instead of having a tension point, it just applies pressure like throughout. So I have to press it down super hard, and it creates a ton of rumble, and then it shoots. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's finish this review off by talking about the first game I played on the console, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Just like the first game, you play as Spider-Man as he tries to stop a nefarious plot by a criminal mastermind in New York City. Only this time, it's 2020 Part 2 simulator instead of Part 1. In the first game, you stop a Chinese guy from spreading a deadly virus across the city, while in this one, you have to stop two villainous factions from starting a war in Harlem. It really makes you reflect on the real world and think about how there is no true evil in any conflict.
Vengeance is ours, saith the mob. And they're still saying.
I'm really glad it needed to happen.
Just kidding.
Now, just like in the PS4 original, the web swinging is super satisfying to perform, encouraging players to explore a city and complete the many side missions that the game has to offer. It honestly makes the player feel awesome. For example,
he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling.
Unlike the web swinging, however, the combat has gone through a few changes. Instead of being focused around suit powers and baking finishers to use on opponents, the PS5 sequel focuses on venom powers, which are powerful electricity attacks that are used to break weapons of enemies, as well as take care of stronger foes. They have also added a camo ability, which allows Miles to turn invisible, adding a whole new element to stealth sections in the game. These blend excellently together and add a whole new mindfulness to the combat. However, while everything about the game is fantastic, it's political, so it's the worst game of all time. In conclusion, the PS5 is an amazing console due to its fast loading times and great graphics, so it gets a 9 out of 10. The controller gets an 8 out of 10, Fortnite gets an 8 out of 10, and Spider-Man Miles Morales gets a 10 out of 10.
It is a little exaggerated swagger of a black teen.